ago today, there was great rejoicing here in the Finger Lakes when the DEC announced it was taking a closer look at the public health and safety concerns that citizens, health professionals, and independent scientists have raised regarding the misbegotten plan to store liquefied petroleum gas in large quantities under high pressure here in the unlined, abandoned salt caverns that underlie the banks of Seneca Lake, some of them left over from Erie Canal days. That announcement had a order, an injunction on the plans of the Houston-based Crestwood company to store in giant old salt mines and turn them into giant vats of cigarette lighter fluid right here in the heart of wine country. And how did Crestwood respond to this halt order? The next day, the very next day, last Tuesday, Crestwood announced to FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, that it would commence construction of a compressor station to pressurize gas for burial in these same salt caverns, and the work is going to begin today, August 18th. If all goes as their plan says, pipelines and drill rigs will follow by October. So, the source of our drinking water. This lake is the source of the microclimate that allows wine grapes to thrive here. We turn water into wine with this lake. That's what we do. This lake is not the Houston shipping channel. And you, Crestwood, are a dangerous trespasser into our home, and we are asking you to leave.
Even if the salt caverns of Watkins Glen were geologically stable, they're not. Even if the roads around the gas terminal were flat. Well, it's a pretty steep hill down there into the heart of Watkins Glen. And if it never snowed. Yeah, in fact, it does snow, generally most of the year. Even with all that, these massive expansion plans shouldn't be approved. The game changer, for me, in my mind, is the investment by some of the most famous winemakers in the world, right here. Seneca Lake. They looked around the world. Where do we want to invest? Right here. Seneca Lake. Watkins Glen in particular. Decades of work by existing wineries have produced world-class wines that have attracted not just tourists, but the best of the best winemakers from California, Argentina, France, and Germany. They've invested right across right there.
Because the citizens of the Finger Lakes, there is no choice here. There are no options when the Finger Lakes are faced with a major threat. At such times, we simply unite to protect our lakes, our water, and our way of life.
Right. Good afternoon, and thank you everyone for being here. For anyone who has been following this story from its onset, you know that we have been at a crossroads ever since U.S. Salt Plant was purchased by an out-of-state corporation with the sole purpose of storing gas in unlined salt caverns. This is a crossroads between heavy industry and the world-class agritourism industry that has created a destination for hundreds of millions of people and developed a sustainable and growing economy that benefits all of New York State. Yeah. Now we are at a different sort of crossroads. This Texas-based corporation has demonstrated an utter disregard for the state, for the law, and for the region and our vision of the Finger Lakes. By starting to build, despite the fact that this facility is not permitted by our state's Department of Environmental Conservation. It has always been clear that no one in the region is willing to sacrifice the Finger Lakes vision to benefit the gas industry. The notion that Crestwood and the federal government would force this down the throats of those who live here and do not want this is of grave concern. Those who have worked for generations to turn this region into the Napa of the Northeast, and everyone who believes that the federal government should not meddle in the affairs of local governments and local concerns, call upon President Obama, Senators Schumer and Gillibrand, and Governor Cuomo to halt this project before one bulldozer mars this soil. We, the people of New York, urge these representatives to leave this decision to those of us who live here and to halt Crestwood's invasion of our home. We are feeling like we are backed into a corner and we are running out of options. Ignoring our pleas for help will leave us with no alternative but to take matters into our own hands. Thank you.
Well said.
Is to make sure you have a copy of the Pledge of Resistance, which you are about to hear recited by two wonderful elocutionists, one a radio talk show host, and the other a faith leader and a retired minister in the Methodist Church. So you're in for a treat, just hearing the sound of the human voice reciting these words. Many people contributed to writing them together, so it'll be a special joy for me. So you need to get that plus the copy of the flyer, the small flyer, which has on it the tiny URL, so you can be ambassadors for the pledge and sign it if you'd like online, and also pass it all around. I apologize that we didn't get that URL actually on the pledge itself, but all this happened in the middle of the night last night while we're pulling this together. So make sure you have both pieces of paper.
And I live on Seneca Lake, just about over there. We have for several years, and we love the lake. We love the people who live around the lake. And I want to share with you my pledge, and I know our pledge to Crestwood. And this is it. To join with others, those of you who came today and hundreds more, in this region and elsewhere to engage in peaceful, nonviolent acts of protest, up to and including civil disobedience, until additional storage of LP and methane in Seneca Lake salt caverns is halted forever. I make this pledge to ensure the protection of Seneca Lake, which nourishes the vitality and enjoyment of the communities surrounding it, to prevent the destruction and poisoning of water, air, food systems on which safety, health, economic prosperity of our community, and those of future generations, our children and grandchildren, all depend. My abiding concern for the health and safety of my community compels me and all of us to take this action. Thank you.